The Gemba360 legal compliance module is Australia's leading compliance system by miles. This is core to the Gemba360 platform and actually spans into every other module as well. What we have on the Gemba360 dashboard is your complete legal compliance updates, as well as resources and tools that you in fact have at your fingertips. So let's have a look at this. First of all, the legal updates are generated by what we call the organization profile. And the organization profile, this is all happening in real time, is that it is based on your company details, your trading name, your taxation status, what accreditation or quality standards you have, what sector, what services you deliver, and what your rule book says within your agency and how it applies to you. What this gives us is essentially a specific and tailored legal compliance solution that is specific for your agency. It means then that you get access to legal updates at the Commonwealth level, state government level, and local government level as well too. So all three tiers of legal updates are then generated specifically for your agency. What does this actually look like? Well, we've taken the legal summaries of information, we've taken the detail of what is required and put this into plain English for you. So this is an example of a new legal update that came out late last year, and it covered about directors' duties. Now, essentially, we summarized this legal update into literally no more than a page memo style format for you. And this is how all of our legal updates come out. The idea is that you get a compliance summary, you get what is and who does it cover, what are the timelines, what is the cost of non-compliance, and if you have any questions, then of course you can contact our legal firm directly. Now, after you've read this, and you can print this out, what we do ask you to do is to confirm that you've read it. So this way, once you've actually confirmed that you've read it, no one can ever turn around to you and say, oh, I never read it, I never saw it. Well, then you've got the footprint to actually say that it was done and when it was done as well too. Now, it also means that you can actually also, if we go back to the main dashboard, also select who actually receives these legal updates. So if you had a team within your agency that had a list of different executive managers, for example, and it was under compliance, finance, HR, governance, physical resources, knowledge, risk management, then you can actually select which legal updates you want to go to whom. And you can do that directly by looking at this particular button here. You'll also find out, and you may also notice for those that have a keen eye, that my little post-it note has actually disappeared off the notice board. And it's done that because I've actually confirmed that I've read it. So there's nothing more for me to read here. But I can actually go into the notice register button and look at all my previous legal updates that have been sent out to me. And by simply clicking on the notice register button, will in fact bring these up for me, and I can have a look at all of the past notices that have been sent. Think of it like my red email box. Now, apart from just those, and I'll say just those memo style legal updates, what we also send out to you as well too is also a summary of the specific legislation that is moving across the state as well too. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I go into the notice board again, I can actually see that we have at the end of each month, we actually send out a specific list of all the bills that are moving through Parliament, so that way you can actually monitor and keep track of, well, what is the status of all of these as well? So this way we can make sure that nothing ever gets missed, and we'll also give you a summary of whether it applies to your agency or not, or what the status is as it's related to specifically your agency. And if your agency works across multiple states and territories, then you'll actually get a summary report specific for each of your jurisdictional areas where your agency works across. And so you've actually got that specific legislative list that you can see exactly when and where bills are moving across the different states and territories that your agency works in. The other part that agencies really wanted also was access to the legislation as well, a bank of legislation. So rather than trying to find the Health Records Act or Privacy Act, or now with all the pandemic orders that are out there as well too, agencies turned around and said, look, we really want to be able to access legislation and the most up-to-date copies of it. Well, now you can by simply going into the legal profile. And you can do that by simply clicking on that button, and this brings up this page here. Now, if we wanted to, we could search for, let me bring up, let's say, health records as an example. And I can type in health records, and let's say I wanted to look at, no, I don't want to look at all. Let's say I just wanted to pick one state out specifically. And I can click on search, and what will come up now is a list of the specific legislation in that particular state as well. And it makes it very, very simple for me to actually access, and very, very quick. You will also see that I can now look at individual legislation and regulations as well. And I also have a copy of that particular legislation that is now open for me to actually view as well too. And I can bring that up and view this as well too. Here we are here, and I can access this legislation that I need to see. So directly from here, I'm able to access a range of resources specific to my agency. I've got access to the legal updates in a memo style format. I've got access to who actually receives these. I've got access to the legislation, and I've got access to all the different bills that are moving through Parliament at any point in time. The Gemba360 legal compliance module is by miles the most comprehensive set of resources that you can access. What you might also find out as well too from time to time in your legal updates is that it might also include a specific information about a webinar that we also run as well too. And an example of that is this here. So not only do we run, and this is from some time ago, but certainly if there are legal updates that are changing that agencies need to be across, we often will run legal webinars from week to week that your agency can also access. This is at no additional cost, and you are able to jump in and access these. Now, if you can't make these particular webinars, and this was just an example of one, then all of our webinar recordings are actually located in the e-learning module as well. So you can access these resources at any time that you need to. Even if you miss out on a webinar that we are running from week to week, all of these resources are made available in your e-learning module as well too, which does come complementary with the legal compliance module here.